Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. The world of fast fashion has complicated clothing production by outsourcing around the world to whoever can sew them the cheapest. And now you, the consumer, are paying the price with rising costs. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. So when you buy from American Giant, you're taking a stand for hardworking people, local communities, and quality clothes. American Giant directly supports American manufacturers and ensures you aren't footing that tariff bill. Support American-made, tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
Life can be chaotic. If you're running a retail business, don't let disorganized order fulfillment add to the chaos. Use ShipStation instead. With ShipStation, you never have to worry about shipping and fulfillment again. Whether you're running a business out of your garage or you have multiple warehouses, ShipStation is ideal for every phase of your business's growth. Save time with one login for all your stores and by automating repetitive tasks. Plus, you'll save money with the best shipping rates from global carriers. ShipStation's industry-leading features help you deliver a better customer experience. They'll get accurate and faster shipments along with automated tracking updates with your branding. And with up to 88% off UPS and USPS rates and up to 90% off FedEx rates, ShipStation is the fastest and most affordable way to ship. Calm the chaos. Switch to ShipStation today. Start a free trial at shipstation.com/audio. That's shipstation.com/audio.
We all know that owning a small business means you wear many hats, but sometimes you really need an extra pair of hands. Upwork is how good companies find great and trusted freelance talent. With more than 2 decades of experience with a simple and ambitious goal of pioneering a better way of working, companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in staffing key projects and initiatives. They access a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web dev, marketing, and more. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelance profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Visit Upwork.com today and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
I'm Zachariah of Zachariah Shoots Photography.
Welcome. You know, I've seen a lot of your work, and I see a lot of people that you've taken photos of that I know personally. I'm like, wow, and they're just super talented, and I find, you know, and just like the fact, like it's like you have this like amazing like eye. And but I want to go back to the beginning. I love going back. I think the beginning always kind of charts our trajectory in life, like our little habits that we pick up along the way. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What was that like?
Okay.
And have you like, and when did you kind of find your way into doing photography?
Okay. Well, I grew up in Wisconsin, born and raised. I was adopted.
Nice.
So I was adopted by 2 white parents. I went to a school in a very small town. Like there's like 300 people in the school.
Wow.
I think the population of the town's like maybe 4,000. It's either 4,000 or like 1,400. It's very, very small. Something like that. I remember there was a 4 in there somewhere. But yeah, very small town upbringing. Um, very not diverse. I was one of like 3 or 4, I think, Black kids in the history of the school since I like when I was going there. So it's very very white, very rural, and yeah. I mean, I had always loved to perform. I sing, I dance, I act. So, I think dance was my first love, or as far as like what I love to do,
Yeah.
as far as performing goes. I always sang, because I loved music and I always felt I was good at it, at singing. But I didn't love to sing in front of people until my choir teacher kind of forced me to sing in front of people and do solos. Um, and that's brings me to moving to LA. I went to college for business management,
Okay.
and my favorite class was marketing in college. It was just a little tech school. I went for about a year, and then I just kind of decided I didn't want to go back. I'm not a school person. School's not really my thing.
Same, same.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of do the music thing for a little bit. I linked with another local artist in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and then I decided I wanted to move to LA, and yeah, I moved out here in 2015.
Nice.
So
Was it
so 9
everything that
years
you
ago.
could imagine when you moved and more?
You know, yeah, I mean, I people always talk about like the culture shock or whatever. I always just felt like I was supposed to be here.
Right.
So to me, it wasn't so much of a culture shock. I'm pretty adaptive. Um, and it was a little more difficult. I mean, everything's a lot more expensive here, but at the same time, it it just felt right. Even through the struggle, I'm like, I was grateful to be here. I was happy to be here, and I love everything about LA, like from the people, from the culture, and just all the opportunities that you can get here. And so I've always loved that. I've never lost that love for it because it's just it's really endless, and everybody ends up coming here for eventually, whether it's temporary or whatever that's
Yeah,
in entertainment.
that's true.
So yeah, I've always loved the entertainment aspect of it. I didn't move here for photography, but
Mm.
I started acting a little bit when I came out here. I kind of fell into that and the dance scene, and then music, and um photography just kind of became a side hustle.
And but you're so good at it. Like, holy
Thank you.
crap. Wow. What was it like people were just like when you wanted to do the side hustle, like were people like, holy crap, dude, I think you're onto something. I think this is literally like
Yeah, so what happened was I had actually just started taking. So I was never an iPhone guy. I was always a Samsung guy. So
same.
so
Let's
I always
go.
yeah. So my iPhone friends would be like, "Hey, can you take?" It's like once they realized my camera was better than theirs, they're like, "Can you take photo? Can you take this photo of me?" And I learned like the features on the camera because I always like taking good photos, but I never had I've always been interested in cameras, but I never had like a really great camera. But I always felt that I had a good eye. I thought I took good photos. But I'm artistic all around, so I feel like photography kind of came easy for me. I know how I want something to look. So I started
Self-taught.
taking pictures of my friends. Yeah, so self-taught
Holy
for the
crap.
most part.
Love that.
Yeah, so I started taking pictures of my friends on my phone. I learned like the portrait features and the what was called live focus at the time, and
Mhm.
with the blurred background. And they were like, "These are really good. These are professional. You should start charging for this
Yeah.
because I'm gonna use these." It's so funny because that was 7 years ago, and I see like one of those friends still to this day, that's her profile picture is a photo I took on my phone of her 7 years ago. I'm
Holy
like, girl, we need to
moly.
update. I'm like, girl, we need to update these headshots. I'm like,
I love it though. That's a
yeah,
testament of how good you are.
appreciate that.
No,
Thank you.
that's so cool. I love that it became a side hustle, but then it just like that was a side hustle, but that wasn't originally what you came to California to do. That's
Yeah.
amazing. But it's
Yeah.
quite interesting how time kind of shifts and different things we kind of get involved in and things that you're like, holy moly, I'm actually like a legit photographer, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, things happen. Life doesn't always go how you think it'll go, but I'm honestly like, I'm still like, listen, I got time to do whatever, but I really fell in love with photography, and I'm like, this is something I can do forever. You
Yeah,
know, like my body is not gonna, you know, go out. Like I can, it's not a big strain on anything. I'm like, I can
right.
photography is something that I enjoy and that I can do for the rest of my life if I wanted to.
Right. And I've read your bio, like, I mean, you've worked, I mean, like Variety, like so many different
Mm,
companies, like the fact that this is self-taught, because I think a lot of people have this kind of, this outlook on things like whether it's going to school for something or self-taught. Like I feel like people think self-taught, you're not going to be able to work at those levels, but you
mm,
can.
mhm.
I mean, I went to school for cinematography and for film for like a couple, like maybe not even 2 years, if that. But then I took what I learned and I just capitalized on it and went, so I do think it depends on the person and your outlook on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, it's about your experience, and
yeah.
with art, like art is so subjective, you know, you can't really teach it. I mean, you can teach it, but it's like you can't teach it a certain way. Like people, when it comes to art, people don't know what they like or what they love until they see it.
Yep.
So, if you make art that you like, if you do something that you like, chances are there's somebody else out there that's gonna like it,
Right.
and
Right.
gravitate towards it. So I think, as an artist, you should do what you like. You should do what's fun for you and what's good for you. Because I don't really believe in, as far as like, well, here's the thing. I'm like, photography is one of those things that I'm like, I started out doing it for money, and
Sure.
because I know what people need, and but I'm also artist, so there is that aspect of like, this is something that I can do that's artistic, that can make me money on the side, and then it eventually turned into my full time, and that's what I'm doing now, full time. But when it comes to like certain art forms, I'm like, I feel like you should always do what feels good to you and what makes sense to you in your spirit. Because I'm really passionate about music.
I love that.
Yeah. So when it comes to music and things like that, I'm like, you know, certain things you shouldn't focus on the money aspect of when it
I
comes to art.
agree. I agree
Mhm.
with that. Yeah. No, and then, like you said, it's so true. Like do the things that makes you happy. Do that because then you're gonna essentially just be doing things that, people want you to do and
Yeah.
not be fulfilled,
Yeah. You don't want to sell your
all.
soul.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're gonna get back into music and like give us something an album, just pop out and just
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a goal
can't
of mine
wait.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, for
Can't
sure.
wait. That's exciting. Okay.
Mhm.
What was one of your most jobs that like one of your favorite jobs that you're like, wow, this is kind of dope. Like I actually made this happen.
Yeah, so one of the jobs, it was, honestly completely unexpected. So I have to give some credit to my friend Brad Everett Young, because so I met Brad um when I moved, well, shortly after I moved into my studio in North Hollywood.
Nice.
He got a studio in the same building, and he's been doing photography for, I don't know how many years, more longer than me. And um, he used to be an actor, and he's got all these actor friends and all these celebrity friends, and so he's a celebrity photographer, and so he's the reason that I got this opportunity. But I ended up shooting Emma Caulfield for Vanity Fair.
Nice,
So
nice.
that was pretty awesome. That was pretty surreal. Yeah, that was amazing to see my work in Vanity Fair.
You're like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's insane. So, and she, um, Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Yeah,
so
classic.
yeah, so part of my childhood. And then also shooting Harvey Guillén. See, I didn't. Harvey Guillén is amazing. He's doing a lot. He's really coming up. He's in What We Do in the Shadows
Yeah,
and Blue Beetle and Puss in Boots. He does a lot of voiceover work, and he's really doing big things. And then through the photos I took of him, he's used those photos for People Magazine and Esquire
love
and
that.
The Advocate, and I think a couple other things. But so that's been really cool.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I have a fun question, and
Mhm.
and there's no wrong answer. But the three levels of influence: money, power,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
respect. And if
Yeah.
you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Hmm. The three levels of influence. I think I would have to say respect, just because like I I mean what you leave behind, your legacy, it's the one thing that you kind of it's the thing that lasts the longest, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because power and money you can't take with you. Respect, you know, you can be an example
Right.
for people. Like as far as we when you think about it, we don't remember people for their money or power as often. And people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were very well respected of because of their influence, because of how they changed the world,
Yeah,
and their integrity in a lot of areas. So integrity is important to me,
I love
and I think when you have integrity, you can't not respect it.
I love that. That's a great answer. Great answer. Do you feel like photography world and just this industry as a whole
Mm.
is changing for the better and more diverse?
That's a good question. You know, I think as technology progresses, I think as long as people are willing to continue being creative, it's gonna advance creativity and um, art for the better.
Yeah.
I think every people are worried about AI,
Yeah.
um, and honestly, I'm not really worried about it because photography. I mean, as much as there's a lot of digital art, there's already going to be digital art, and I
Yeah,
think that humans, uh, AI can't do it without us.
for sure.
So AI can enhance digital art in a way um, that needs a human touch,
Mhm.
and it's pretty incredible what we can do with AI. And I like to say that because it's not what AI can do; it's what we can do with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no,
You
you're
know,
right. It's I mean, look, I've seen some amazing, incredible things that AI can do, and I understand why some people are very scared of it. But I also see the benefits as well from it. AI can enhance your business. Like if you're a small company, when I started my MVB Films Productions,
Mhm.
I actually did reach out and did do some AI, like because
Mhm.
I'm not 12 people, but
Yeah,
imagine having that, it's your create, and then you can all,
exactly.
you don't have to be online. They can
Mhm.
post for you. Like
Yeah,
it's so helpful in that way. So I mean, and it's here to
absolutely.
stay. So it's like, what are we
Mhm.
gonna do?
Right, exactly. You have to make it work to your advantage because it's like, look, I'm just one guy.
Right.
And that's the thing. Well, I run my business by myself. I'm just
Right.
one guy. So AI is a great tool for me because it's like, look, I'm so ADHD. Like I have ADHD. It's and when it comes to remembering everything,
Oh my God.
it's like
Right.
very difficult for me. Again, I'm an artist before I'm anything else.
Right.
So uh so yeah, I have an art brain. I have a bit, I'm good with business too, but when it comes to keeping on track and keeping scheduled and organized, that is challenging for me.
Yeah.
So AI is a great tool for that. And also when it comes to creating art and things, but AI for handling the business side is the best tool,
It
honestly.
is. It's great. Yeah. If you could go and have a cup of coffee with
Mhm.
anybody, living or dead,
Mhm.
who would it be and why?
Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Yeah, yeah, Stevie
Okay.
Wonder. And Stevie Wonder is the one person alive that honestly I'm like I have to meet this person because Stevie has, first of all, he's influenced most of the artists that I love, if not all of them. Like I don't know who's not influenced by Stevie Wonder.
Right.
Truly. And because Stevie, the thing about Stevie is just like Stevie's just love. And I love love. Like Stevie is love if nothing else. And
Yeah.
that's what I get from him. And I just, I don't even know. It's like whatever, you know, his presence and his wisdom would offer me yeah, would be immensely worth it, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So yeah,
he's
Stevie
someone
Wonder.
that just got it right. Like
Mhm.
he's someone that also maintained his sense of self, right? I think a
Mhm.
lot of times this business can kind of
Yeah.
swallow you up and you kind of can lose yourself if you let it, if you let it.
Mhm. For sure.
But I find those kind of people, like him and it's people that are still doing it at a high capacity, but still maintain a sense of self and they don't seem like they kind of lost touch of who they are. I love that.
Mhm.
you know, yes,
Absolutely.
that's always cool.
And that's the thing is like you know how you maintain that integrity and that reputation and that respect throughout your whole music career in such an industry that's like
Crazy.
evil. Like
Oh
let's be
man, that's
real.
another podcast right there.
I'm like let's be
Oh,
real. And then
woo.
people like somebody like another artist that I respect as well is Common. I've always said like Common. I want Common to be my
Yeah.
mentor. I love
Yeah.
Common. Yeah,
Your mouth
yeah,
to God's ears.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Yeah. He's really awesome as
Mm,
well. He's really, really cool. I like his whole vibe.
mm.
Um, have you ever been like have you ever questioned the journey? And if you have, what are the things that kind of make you like come back and like, you know what? No, I'm gonna keep going.
Um, I don't know if I've ever questioned my journey.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I'm like, I don't know if I have. Uh, because I feel like my relationship with God, I'm just like, look, if God wants me to be doing something, I'm gonna be doing it. Like I've had God push me in multiple different directions. And I know that I have faith that when things are gonna happen, when there's things are supposed to happen, they're going to happen.
Yeah.
And I keep my ear to God and my heart to God. So I'm like, whenever, whichever way you want to move me, you can move me. And sometimes like I might be a little stubborn or like a little scared, but I'm like, I feel that pull when I feel that pull, and then I
I
start to
love that.
align in that direction, whatever direction that may be.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I mean, it's interesting, I grew up a PK kid, so I was the one that kind of quote unquote was like the rebellious one.
Mhm.
The one it's like, oh, I'm gonna go and go to Los Angeles. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. They're
Mhm.
like, whoa, but it is that like I find at every time that at the end of the day, God is there when everyone is gone, and when you're
Mhm.
just by yourself, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you're okay. You're still here. Like
Yeah.
thank you. It's like you didn't abandon me. So yeah, God is everything. It's the foundation, right, of what we do and why we well. for some. Why we do.
Yeah, absolutely. For the chosen.
For the chosen. I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Are you working on anything right now that you would like to share with the audience, listeners?
Yeah. Well, I have a clothing line coming soon. Yeah,
Hey, I
watch
can't
out for that.
wait.
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
gonna say too much about that, but it's coming soon.
Whoa.
I'm getting the
That's
samples.
exciting.
Hopefully I ordered some samples and I'm gonna be doing photos. That's a good thing about being a photographer is I can it's like I got models on standby.
Heck yeah, dude. You have
And
models, all good looking
I got
people.
people that are, that think like it's really, it really is a blessing because like I have models that are like, if you ever need a model for anything, I'm like, okay, great. Like that's good to know. And then,
Right.
like, well, I have a clothing line and I'm the photographer. So like I think it gives
Wow.
me a nice advantage. And
What what made you do it? Start a clothing line.
um, well, it's funny. My roommate, he well, I wanted to start a clothing line for a long time, but this clothing line was just such a simple idea when we were talking, and it just kind of came about, and we're like, oh, this is a great idea. He prints. So my roommate prints shirts. He's got a machine, and he moved in a couple months ago, and we've been talking for a long time. We've been friends for a while.
Love that.
But he prints shirts and everything, and he's got a screen printing machines right here.
Love
But
that.
yeah, so I'm like we're both very ambitious, like entrepreneur type types. So yeah, I just figured it would be a great partnership to create a clothing line. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Congrats on that. That's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah, well, we
Thanks.
can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, watch out for
Um,
that. That's funny.
right. What advice would you give someone that is trying to get into the business of whether it's photography or just trying to get in this crazy business that we're in?
Well, I would say for photography, I would say one, make sure that you know how to use your camera.
Like,
And don't just get a camera and be shooting on auto and just think because you buy an expensive camera. It doesn't matter how expensive the camera is if you don't know how to properly use your camera.
right.
Because I can take better pictures on a $200 camera than an amateur can on a $5,000 camera.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
because I have 7 years of experience and I know how to use my camera. So make sure you know how to use your camera first before anything. Don't just buy a camera to take pictures of naked girls. Like don't be that guy.
Don't be
Don't
that
be
guy,
that guy.
please.
I've met so many, I know so many people, and it's just like it's like that just bought the camera for that reason, or like
Oh,
they, because sometimes I do take those types of photos, but there's the guys that come like, oh, you took this, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, it's not my main thing, but it's
right.
like, but do it for the art. If you're gonna do it for the art, or do it for business, but always keep your integrity. Don't be a creep.
Please,
But
God, no.
it's like, but also, um, when it comes to the business side of things. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so learn how to use your camera. Don't be a creep. But also,
Very good
um,
points. Very good
yeah,
points.
when it comes to the business side of things, when you are very simple, is um, get a deposit. That's something I learned very early on. Is ask for a deposit because people will flake. 50% of the time, if you don't ask for a deposit, people will flake because they don't have any reason to show up because like you haven't given them a reason to really show up. They will flake because photo shoots are something that most people don't do. So people can be nervous. People can, they're like, oh, I don't think I want to do it. And they don't have any obligation to do it if
Right.
they haven't already invested something. So
Yeah.
always get a deposit. That's a big, piece of advice. Always get a deposit because it's your money and you need to survive. so
Absolutely.
so always get a deposit. I always do a 50% deposit, and
Love that.
yeah, and just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Always shoot as much as you can. Always try to improve your skills. Learn lighting.
Yes,
Lighting
that's
is the most
huge.
important thing. Lighting's more important than what kind of camera you have.
Yeah, because I feel like some photographers, what I notice, and even cinematographers, like sometimes people don't know how to shoot certain skin
Mhm.
tones and colors,
Yeah,
and because everybody doesn't look the same on camera. So it's
yeah,
like that's so important. And yeah,
yeah,
like I see a lot of movie filmmakers who are very talented, but when it comes to a lot of darker skinned film
yeah,
actors, I'm like, yo,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
put more
And
light on
it's
that
like,
face.
yeah, and that's the thing is also when it comes to shooting darker skin tones, uh, it's okay to make or to shoot when it comes to lighting because it's not usually the lighting, it's the editing afterwards that people
Yeah,
mess up on. And it's like either darker skin tones are come out too like dark and muddy or too bright because they I don't know. It seems like a colorism, maybe a little bit of like racism. Unintentional. I don't think it's intentional, but it
right.
happens. I'm like, okay, it's either these photos. Like, I don't know. I just feel like some people like I don't know because it's like it comes out either too bright in the editing, and it's just like this doesn't look like me. This is not my skin tone. And
Right.
I get that complaint a lot about other photographers when they, because they come to me and they're telling me like I didn't like these photos from this person because I came out too dark and muddy or they made my skin tone too bright. I'm like, that's not my skin tone. I want them to look like me.
Right.
So, make them look like them. Like
I
don't
love
be
that.
weird. Like,
Yes. It's a great,
yeah.
it's great advice. I think that that's such an important one. I had a photographer I shot with, and I will not say his name, but I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just over edited. It was just like, whoa, what are we doing?
Hmm.
And he only released one photo. And I was
Hmm.
just like, so I don't get to see any of the 50, 60, 100 photos that you took. No, I'm like, I guess so.
Right.
I guess every photographer is different. Some people are very
Yeah.
anal about their photos.
Yeah.
Are you kind of a photographer that gives a certain amount to your clients?
Normally, honestly, I like to give the full gallery of JPEGs
Yeah.
for them to look through and choose for themselves. Because honestly, um, I try to keep my prices reasonable
Hmm.
and also keep a little workload off of myself. And honestly, I'm like, I don't have the time to look through everybody's photos all the time. So
Yep.
I'm like, I'll let you choose your photos because I was honestly like, there's nothing worse than editing a photo that and they don't like it. They wouldn't. It's like they don't like that photo, and then you gotta like start out or like do. It's like I'm not gonna do more work than I have to
Right.
because it's like I'm not gonna just edit photos if you don't. You might not like the photos unless it's like a collaboration or there's you know an agreement in place to where I can use whatever photos that I want.
Yeah, no,
So,
I love that. Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. What's a quote just, just before we go, that what like maybe could be a quote or something saying that's when you think about it, or something that you'll like when you hear it, you're like, okay, it just keeps it gives you that motivation just to keep going.
Mm. Um, I have a couple. I'll
Ooh,
say, do something today that your future self will thank you for.
like that.
And also, don't ask yourself, I'm like, this might be, I'm like, I don't know if this is a quote that I made up or if there's a quote that I read somewhere, but don't ask yourself, why me? Ask yourself, why not me?
I like that. That's awesome.
Because
That's
I don't
awesome.
understand like why you couldn't be the one to do the
Yeah,
thing that you want to do.
that's it.
If something is happening to you, things happen to everybody, you know.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when good things happen, don't question it. Don't question why the good thing is happening to you because you deserve good things. Everybody deserves good things to happen to them, you know.
Yeah, no, I
Like
love that.
don't
We are
yeah
kind of our own biggest enemy. We can
yeah
be our own in our own
we
way,
can be
you
absolutely we
know?
can be. It's like don't just ask why me when bad things are happening, you know,
Yes.
or
Yes.
why not me? Why can't good things happen to me?
I love
Why
that.
not?
Love
So yeah.
that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to talk to you and, pick your brain, your brilliant brain about life and all the things. But please come back anytime. Also, where can people find you on social media to follow everything you have going on?
Yeah. So social media, my photography page is at Zachariah_shoots. TikTok, Zachariah shoots. I don't know how much longer TikTok will even matter.
I know.
YouTube. Oh, I have a YouTube channel, a
Okay.
YouTube show. It's also, mm, I'm like, what is my YouTube channel? Zachariah shoots. It's, I'm pretty sure it's at Zachariah shoots. It's crazy. I'm like, I should know that. I really should. But I have a YouTube show called Behind the Headshot where I interview actors.
Heck yeah, I want to
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah,
That's
come on.
fun.
Come on. I'll have you on my show, but it's called Behind the Headshot. I do a interview, I do a headshot session and get some behind the scenes, and then we
That's
do
dope.
an interview. My last episode on there was with Columbus Short.
Yeah, I love him. Love him.
Yeah, that's my big bro. So
Love
that's my bro.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's wonderful. And congrats on that. I mean, that's exciting. So
Thank you.
you're an entrepreneur. You do it all. I love that.
Yeah. I do a little bit of everything. I trying to focus, be more focused, but my mind's always going everywhere and onto all the ideas I have, all the things I want to do. So yeah, just
Yes,
trying to
that's
hone
awesome.
it.
That's really cool. Well, thank you
Yeah,
again. This was a pleasure.
absolutely.
Thank you again. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.